All right, morning. We got an 03 f350, 6 liter. So this is a true 03. So the ways I can tell that is just by looking at it. The old style FICA mount, no ICP on the valve cover that would be up on the pump, and this one even has the old style crossover intake manifold. So this was the original 6 liter that was made and updated quite a bit for 2005. But this one, I got it in last night. I stuck the charger on it, charged up the batteries, and did some tests on it this morning, and I'll show you what I found. So initially, the scan tool is calling number 4 injector circuit high. When I key it on, I can really hear that clatter is missing one. It's not quite going, and that fuel pump sounds really weird, eh? Like it's so I put the gauge up on it, and it's reading it's 50, which is good, but you see how it's kind of moving around a lot. So that's telling me, oh, and then it drops right off, not holding any pressure. So that's telling me there's either something going on with the return spring. We call it like the blue spring mod, right? Or it's possibly weak. Maybe that number 4 injector it's calling is actually leaking fuel down somehow. So that's a possibility. But we definitely have an injector on that side. When we go to our test, we are going to do an injector buzz, which I've done already. So I've kind of warmed them up a little bit, and I did start it and noticed that it was running quite rough. 1, 2, no 3, no 4, 5, 6, 7, is weak, 8. 1, 2, no 3, no 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll do that one more time. I did get a couple of buzzes out of 3 here and there, a couple of weak clicks, but so I'm suspecting that there's a couple of injectors that aren't quite functioning right here, and it's calling a circuit high on number 4. So I verified that the plug was in. It looks like someone's put a new FICM harness on here, so that could be good. I verified the FICM seems to have good voltage. It's up at almost 48, which is ideal. So generally when we see injector problems, it's because of a fuel pressure issue. So I would suspect either that fuel pump is starting to act up, or that return spring is starting to get weak, or maybe it's kind of like a little bucket and seal in there that tends to wear out over time. This one does have about 400k on it. So one of the main issues that I see here that also contributes to injector failures on these is the oil filter. Being that it's a hydraulically driven engine, and we see the dreaded tall cap. Yeah, so that guy there, bad, bad, bad. I haven't checked it to see if there's actually a proper filter in it yet, but nonetheless, this thing looks like in real good condition. I don't see any major leaks or anything like that. I would recommend just going after 2 injectors. Just take the valve covers off, have a look inside there, replace injectors number 3 and 4. We could just start with number 4, put some, I use this additive called arch oil, and that really tends to free up sticky injectors. I don't think that would help on number 4 because it's a circuit high, which means it's probably like jammed up or there's damage to the solenoid itself. I've even seen those ones where the top of the injector will come right apart. So I would really say, yeah, let's just start ripping apart the valve cover here on the driver's side and go after the number 4 injector, see what's going on in there. This still does have an EGR in place. I don't know if maybe somebody has tried to block it off, but I would recommend just getting rid of that and putting a newer style intake on it. I would definitely recommend doing something about that fuel pressure. can see also I've got another gauge on here, right? That's a coolant pressure gauge. So this one is holding us so far. I pumped it up to about 13, which is the operating pressure. And then I'll kind of see and hold it, and I do see a little bit of a leak down there. So whether that's just from shit melting off of it, but I thought I just heard something hit the ground. So likely it's because I've got pressure on the system the way it should be. So, oh yeah, look at that. I can see it coming. I just seen a drip, right? So we've got a leak right around there somewhere. Oh yeah, there it goes again. You can see it starting to mess on that hose there. So looks like we've either got maybe a small crack in the degas bottle, which I see often when people, oh no, it's leaking, and they'll go grab a gear clamp, there it dripped again, and then they'll tighten up that gear clamp till it crushes that bottle down. So that's not out of the ordinary. Other just kind of basic concerns, this is a manual transmission truck, and the e-brake cabling is all over the place. That's gonna give you a pretty do not pass go on a roadside inspection. Yeah, it's got a real cool power tailgate on it. I haven't started checking lights and stuff like that yet. I just thought we'd just go over some of the mechanical concerns while we're in here. I'll try and keep this short. So generally, I'll use the bidirectional controls. And I'm going to turn on this fuel pump. Yeah, see, it doesn't sound all that happy when it gets started, and it seems to jump up there pretty good. Oh yeah, then it kind of struggles a little bit. So, you know, if you're not supplying fuel to the injectors, then you're always going to have injector problems. I see a lot of shops that'll just, you know, that don't know, or whatever the case is, and they'll just continuously put injectors in people's trucks where it's completely unnecessary. If you know, could just be a, you know, a $20 spring kit, right? And that'll solve that problem. The pumps can get a little on the expensive side, but I've got a lot of good use stuff here. So I'm gonna continue on with the tests here and see what's going on. I went into the dash there to get a, you know, the registration information and everything like that, and I see the old evil can of ether. So I didn't get a chance to start this cold, but I imagine with a bad injector, it doesn't, and low fuel pressure, it's not going to want to start very well. So I'll have a look at them glow plugs and see if there's any glow plug concerns. But it did start real sharp. I can see here too, you got found some pieces and parts, and that's always because this battery's not in, you know, and that's cheap too, you know, like a $20 battery hold down can save you you know, $1,500 computer, or even worse is actually repairing these connectors properly. But I generally don't see a lot of concerns with that. We'll see that one's missing here because that's the transmission side generally. So you'll have engine control and body control. So usually I have good luck just getting zip ties or silicone or a strap, something like that, just to hold that in. You can see we've got a tie down on this side, right? If anything, I would leave this side off and I would tie down that other side. So yeah, really not a lot. It's running so rough, it's really not worth test driving. So I would recommend just getting that number 4 injector done, get this side tidied up. You know, then that'll give us access on this side to that fuel pressure regulator. We could probably just get rid of this roto deco altogether. I've seen guys just put a longer tube on there, where I would really recommend just trying to replace that. There's a lot of cheap alternatives on Amazon for that. And yeah, you know, good tires. That's a 4-wheel drive. These trucks are in high demand. It's worth putting a little bit of money into them right now. It's unfortunately you're kind of looking in that 100K plus range to replace something like this. So nonetheless, I'll wrap this one up for now, and I'll let you guys stew that over. And yeah, I guess got a couple minutes left here. what are we looking at? I got used injectors here. I sell for $150, and that's after I buy a seal kit for it. So I'm at about $500 in labor to probably peel this whole one side off. So, you know, to go through a few little things, we're probably only looking about maybe $700-800 just to kind of get onto this side. If we want to do the injector on the other side, then that's actually a little less to do it right now because I've got a lot of the major components out of the way. But you know, it's a little bit more work on these O3s with that thickened bracket and everything, and I like to be real careful to make sure I don't lose all the little tiny spacers and everything like that. And this one looks like it's been maintained correctly. I don't see a lot of concerns as far as you know, things that are missing on here, which is quite nice. Even the, you know, looks like the bulb's missing out of that, right? But you know, like it's not like hanging, and you know, I don't see any major damage, and you know, bolts aren't missing all over the place. So wiring's not all rubbed out and messy. The belt looks okay. It looks like it's had a recent alternator. So I'm not going to start picking on your last mechanic, that's for sure, right? Everybody seems to have been doing their due diligence that have been in here. That fan, that clutch fan, I noticed that's got a code for it too. I've got a couple of those kicking around, but they seem to have a habit of, especially when you get these roto decos in the way, right, of cutting off the actual wiring harness. So